Welcome to Sri Lanka. Today is a much awaited opening ceremony of the World Summit Awards 2013. Here at the Kingsbury Hotel, many international delegates and international experts, speakers, contestants, winners have convened, and everyone is now parading to the Presidential Secretariat, where the World Summit Awards will be convened and inaugurated by none other than the President of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa. It is about local developers finding a global stage. It is about e-content as diverse as the different countries in the whole wide world. So from Colombo, we will continuously give you updates about the World Summit Awards 2013.
Ayubowan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for a very, very important event here in Sri Lanka, and that is definitely the first ever WSA event in the region. So we are really encouraged and honored to have so many delegates across the globe. In fact, we have global diversity being represented here in one platform, and that is because you have the passion and you have the interest and you have the liking towards ICT and ICT development. So we're getting ready for the inauguration, and in Sri Lanka we greet each other by saying Ayubowan. So we'd like to wish you Ayubowan, and the meaning of Ayubowan is wish you long life. Ayubowan, welcome to Sri Lanka, and to Colombo, and to the Presidential Secretariat. And very soon we'll be seeing the arrival of our chief guest, no less than the President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa. And no sooner we see his arrival, we begin our inauguration program. Ladies and gentlemen, the arrival of our chief guest, the President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa. And accompanying our chief guest at the head table will be the following dignitaries. We have the Honorable Ranjit Siamalapitiya, Minister of Telecommunication and Information Technology in Sri Lanka. We have Mr. Lalit Weeratunga, who is the Secretary to His Excellency the President. We'll be inviting Professor P.W. Appasinghe, the Chairman of the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, who's also the Senior Presidential Advisor and Chancellor of the Peradeniya University. We also invite Professor Peter Brook, the WSA Chairman, Mr. Lalit De Silva, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Sri Lanka Telecom, our strategic partner, and also the Chief Executive Officer of ICTA, Mr. Reshan Devapura. So this is how we get ourselves ready for the inauguration of the WSA Global Congress. An extra special evening for all of us present here this evening, and as we are all gathered here together to witness the grand inauguration of the WSA Global Congress 2013. Well, the World Summit Award, or WSA, is a global initiative, as you know, within the framework of the United Nations. The WSA selects and also promotes effectively the world's best e-content and innovative ICT applications. And to date, more than 160 countries have been actively involved in this process. Very, very encouraging. Well, the WSA demonstrates the local diversity and rich creativity of ICT use. WSA is a global hub for everyone who values the crucial importance of local content to make today's information society more and more inclusive. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the World Summit Award promotes smart contents for smart people. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to invite someone very, very special who's going to welcome all of you to this inauguration. And in fact, he held the post of Secretary to His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka since November 2005. And he held the position of Chairman, Commonwealth Telecommunication Organization in 2010 and 2011 and was elected for the second consecutive terms as Chairman of UNESCO Committee of ICT Experts in the Asia-Pacific region during 2008 to 2012. So to welcome you officially, we would like to now invite Secretary to His Excellency the President, Mr. Lalit Weeratunga.
His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Honorable Ranjit Siambalapitiya, Minister of Telecommunication and Information Technology, Professor Peter Brook, Chairman of the World Summit Award, Professor Appasinghe, Chairman of the Information Communication and Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, and other distinguished colleagues at the head table, and distinguished friends. I'm extremely privileged to welcome to our midst His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Your Excellency's distinguished presence gives us every encouragement to forge ahead in the field of ICT, and thank you for taking time to be with us. Let me also extend a very warm welcome to the Minister of Telecom and IT, Honorable Ranjit Siambalapitiya, Professor Peter Brook, Chairman of the World Summit Awards, and all the distinguished delegates from all over the world who have crossed our shores to participate in the World Summit Awards Global Congress 2013. We are extremely pleased that the World Summit Award Global Congress has come to Sri Lanka in a short span of 10 years since it was first established in 2003. In fact, being the recipient of the WSA award on 3 consecutive occasions gives us greater pride to be the host this year for this very laudable initiative. The WSA Global Congress is dedicated to innovation and the creative use of ICTs by selecting the world's most outstanding e-content with the target of turning it into shared knowledge among communities. Our association with WSA dates back to 2009, when we were invited to serve on the grand jury to select the world's best e-content that year. In that year, our first exposure to the WSA, Sri Lanka won 2 awards, and we have had a winner each year since then. We have also initiated the E-Swabhimani Award to recognize creativity in digital content at a national level along the lines of the WSA in 2009. We followed the same procedure and even designed our own selection software along those same lines. Sri Lanka's own achievements in the ICT sector has seen leaps and bounds with innovations in how the government delivers citizen services, increased investor confidence, and necessary infrastructure gradually taking shape. In this connection, all Sri Lankans will undoubtedly salute Your Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, our President who gave all the leadership to the ICT revolution in Sri Lanka since his assumption of office in 2005. Your Excellency, distinguished friends, this year, Sri Lanka improved her position by 2 places in the recently published Global Network Readiness Index, or NRI, which measures a nation's or community's degree of preparation to participate and benefit from ICT developments. With the 2-place improvement, Sri Lanka now ranks at 69th place out of 144 countries surveyed so far. The 3-day WSA conference, starting tomorrow and culminating in the Gala Award event, has brought to Colombo more than 160 ICT governance experts, practitioners, and service providers from 48 countries to engage in a dialogue, learning from one another. Compared to about a decade ago, we are now feeling that ICT is penetrating every aspect of our lives. As citizens, how we receive services. As government officials, how we deliver them. As policymakers, how we are inspired by it. There cannot be any government in the world today that does not embrace technology, for it sees technology's potency to deliver effectively, do more with less, and satisfy the people. Let me conclude my address this evening, my welcome address to you, by inviting you to take time to travel a little around this beautiful island and enjoy its scenic beauty and the warm hospitality of the people. I wish you would have a successful conference and a very enjoyable visit to our motherland. Thank you very much.
Information and communication technology has been making a tremendous impact on the development of the country, both socially and economically. Being sensitive to this reality and realizing that ICT literacy plays an important role in bringing about socio-economic development, the government set up the ICT Agency of Sri Lanka under Act No. 27 of 2003. ICTA is the apex government body responsible for implementing the eSri Lanka Development Initiative. Focused on this vision and the objective, turning Sri Lanka into the knowledge hub and wonder of Asia, equipped with a high ICT literacy rate, the eSri Lanka Initiative moves forward with the people and the nation.
That's a message, ladies and gentlemen, from the Apex ICT Policy Body of Sri Lanka and the implementing organization of for ICT-led National Development Initiative eSri Lanka, and that is the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, ICTA. And for the opening remarks representing ICTA, we would like to very warmly invite to the podium its Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Reshan Devapura.
Thank you. His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Honorable Ranjit Siambalapitiya, Minister of Telecommunication and IT, Mr. Lalit Weeratunga, Secretary to His Excellency the President, Professor Peter Brook, Chairman of World Summit Awards, Professor P.W. Appasinghe, Chairman of ICTA, Mr. Lalit De Silva, CEO of Sri Lanka Telecom, and distinguished invitees. I am humbled by the honor of having the opportunity to say a few words at this prestigious ceremonial inauguration of the 6th World Summit Awards here today under the patronage of His Excellency the President. World Summit Awards, as we will hear from the chairman of WSA himself, is an enormously significant set of activities, especially in this day and age. In a day and age when we have gone beyond focusing only on technology, but emphasizing more and more on the true benefits of such technology to ordinary people. The core of World Summit Awards is about such benefits to people, benefits born out of creations of digital content. This resonates greatly with the development agenda of our country, which has been formulated with the people in mind as the final benefactors. This is the policy of His Excellency the President and the government of Sri Lanka. It is therefore entirely appropriate and an unparalleled privilege, I believe, to be able to ceremonially inaugurate WSA 2013 events under the auspices of none other than His Excellency the President himself. In this growing world of information and communication technology, digital content or e-content plays a very crucial role. In pursuing the e-development agendas of many countries in which we strive to take the benefits of ICT to all segments of the population, valuable and innovative digital content is of tremendous significance. And as per the theme of these events, e-content, are the rich fruits which are born out of the tree of technology or the tree of the internet. These have far-reaching ramifications, positive ramifications if I may say so. They have the ability to transform the lifestyle of ordinary citizens and change the socio-economic landscape of a country. In this context, digital content cannot have a bigger importance in today's world. So in this background, hosting an international conference and exhibition on digital content of this magnitude here in Colombo is of great significance. The two main components of these events, the WSA Gala Awards, will recognize the best digital content and their creators from around the world, and the WSA World Congress, which starts tomorrow, will be the premier global conference on digital content. Now, it is not a coincidence that these events are being held in Sri Lanka. For a small country, as you heard from the Secretary to His Excellency the President, Sri Lanka has been in the forefront of ICT-led development in the last few years. The country has had many successes and achievements in its e-development roadmap. The government of Sri Lanka has identified this sector as a key area to boost socio-economic development and has strongly promoted it, both at policy level and in implementation. It is noteworthy to mention that the foresight and the leadership for the e-development agenda of this country comes directly from His Excellency the President himself. It is through His Excellency's government's policy, Mahinda Chintana, Vision for the Future, that ICT has been streamlined into national development and been given a role of national importance. As an ICT-savvy leader who has recognized the acceleration capability of ICT, your commitment, sir, to keep ICT in the forefront of development as we move to a future of a knowledge society and a knowledge culture is laudable and something for which we are eternally grateful. With such a strong backing and resourceful interventions from the leadership of the country and the rest of the government, much has been achieved through ICT. Sri Lanka today, reaping the benefits of peace, has seen ICT creating an enabling environment for the government, for the private sector, and for the society in general to grow and develop individually, as well as together as a nation. ICT has been that transformational tool that has broken down barriers, started creating a true cyber class, and brought in that inclusivity for all our citizens. It has been a great leveler, in other words. The Sri Lanka initiative, which the ICT agency implements, has given birth to many successful projects which have clearly taken the benefits of IT to rural Sri Lanka, to grassroots communities. The e-society program has successfully embarked upon and delivered on creating quality digital content for the benefit of ordinary citizens. The e-Swabhimani Awards, as Mr. Viratunga said, which is Sri Lanka's process for nominating applications to WSA, have gone a long way in spawning a local e-content creation industry in our country. This industry has come to be recognized globally by winning international awards for their innovative and impactful creations, and has even been showcased in UNCTAD's UN Commission for Trade and Development's Information Economy Report of December 2012. It is all these successes and strides made in the ICT sector that I believe convince the WSA to conduct these premier events, which are held once every 2 years in Sri Lanka this time. We are thankful to Professor Brook and WSA for bringing these flagship events to Sri Lanka, and we hope not only to host a highly successful Congress and a very rewarding gala ceremony, but we also hope that this will be additional catalyst in the work that we do in this area and generate great momentum for implementing our future plans and activities. I believe the WSA World Congress will be a great opportunity for us to listen and learn from a prolific range of speakers and experts in the digital content field from around the globe, and the Gala Awards will be a celebration and recognition of uninhibited talent, and I'm sure it will spur our own community of digital content creators. This is also another great opportunity to demonstrate that Sri Lanka has created the right and suitable environment for ICT-led development, and will help us tremendously in our endeavors to promote Sri Lanka as a global ICT destination, as well as a knowledge hub in the region. Last but not least, it will also support and strengthen our hand in the continuation of ICT-led transformation of the country to a smart Sri Lanka, focusing on a smart government, smart jobs, and a smart society. With that, I'd like to close welcoming all our overseas guests to our beautiful country and inviting your active participation to make all the WSA events this week extremely successful. I would like to pay my sincere thanks to Your Excellency for gracing this occasion, and also my heartfelt gratitude to all the distinguished invitees for being here and making this inauguration a success. Thank you.
We're now going to invite someone who specializes in many areas like law, economics, sociology, and communications. Well, he has more than 25 years of experience in research, university teaching, and information technologies in countries like Austria, Switzerland, Germany, Poland, Portugal, the US, and also Canada. He, in fact, champions the cause of bridging the digital divide and led the World Summit Award since its very inception. I'm talking of the chairman himself, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to listen to the address of the chairman, World Summit Award, Professor Dr. Peter Brook.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, dear Minister, honorable hosts, ladies and gentlemen, and especially those of you who are winners of the World Summit Award and the World Summit Youth Award. Sri Lanka is hosting these events for you, not for me, not for all the other dignitaries, but it is you who are at the center of this stage here, thanks to the leadership of the President of this country, to elevate you into a position which you might not have had before and not have again. When the United Nations in the year 2000 were deciding to go into this process of the World Summit on Information Society, they did have an idea that the information society has to be more inclusive. And inclusivity meant at that time access, infrastructure, and the ability on any kind of place within Sri Lanka that somebody who is living in a village does not have to walk for 3 days to get to a telephone booth. That was 10 years ago. Today, with the mobile revolution, there's over 100% penetration in terms of access to the networks. And the issue today is, what is it actually which makes this society not inclusive enough? And that is the issue which we want to address and talk here. We have networks, we have devices, we have power. So access to technology might not be the key issue. We are entering, Mr. President, as you have remarked yourself at many times, and the Minister as well, we are entering the digital age. We are moving after 40,000 years of cultural development, where we were dominated and using media which are not interactive, for the first time in human history into something where text speaks back to you, where an image starts not just moving, but where you interfere with what you see and where the image responds. Responsive design is not just something abstract, but something which is actually present on the internet today. In many countries of the world, people start having thoughts about what it means to enter into a knowledge society on the basis of us having created an information society. And what is critical and becomes ever more critical is the ability of a society to absorb the benefits of technology. And we know that some of the richest countries in the world, some of the most developed economies, are the least well prepared for the absorption. Because what content actually entails is an attitude of learning, an ability to inquire, to open your mind, and to do more than just play around or measure fast speed in performance. And that is what it is. Many people in the last 40, 50 years have looked at the developmental path of various different nations, and some of them compare Korea with some African countries. Take the timeline from 1956 to 2013 and say, why did one develop better than others? When you land at the airport here in Colombo, you are running slalom through the Korean achievements in terms of industrial electronic industry. Screens, fridges, fans, and television sets are all populating there. The issue is, however, now, what is it actually in the next stage when we are putting this technology to use? And what is it actually which is grabbing not just our fantasies, but allow us to realize our dreams? And that is the issue which WSA tries to answer. We are switching from the metaphor, Mr. President, of navigating in an ocean of products in the internet to something which is much more befitting an island nation like Sri Lanka. Because you have been already giving lighthouse and orientation. You have a compass. What it needs now is to grow on the tree of technology those fruits which are actually able to nourish people. And the importance is to distinguish between what is poisonous and what is welcoming. Because this world is not good in itself and by itself, and only through efforts of people will it change. And only if we have these efforts and focus them on something which is enabling digital technologies to reach out beyond where we have been with non-digital technologies, then we will be able to do this. I'm coming from Qatar, from Abu Dhabi, and from Dubai. I was keynoting yesterday at a mobile learning conference. And before me, there spoke two people from the US. And they were absolutely enthusiastic about iPad classes and netbook schools and things like this. But when we were in the car going back to the hotel, they were telling me, the one gentleman, professor at the University of Michigan, that there are 80% dropouts in high schools in Detroit. 80% of the children, the youth, the young people, the future of that country are dropping out of school, having no hope. They have not learned how to strive. They have not learned what is a purpose in life. They have not kindled and rekindled their ambitions. They have not gained a sense what it means. When I traveled today, this morning at 6 o'clock, from the airport here to the downtown Colombo, I saw the roads lined with young people in white dresses, in blue skirts, waiting to pick up to go to school. This country has the opportunity to absorb technology and to make the best of it, to export the fruits, the digital fruits, far beyond what you have been dreaming about so far. Why? Because the infrastructure in this country is able to create something more than just a laboratory. If you pick up one of your phones, which you had to leave in your hotel rooms for security reasons, and you send an SMS here in Sri Lanka, I learned from the chairman of the Sri Lankan Telecom, it costs you 25 Sri Lankan cents. If I, who live in Salzburg, Austria, send an SMS, same length, same destination, same speed of delivery, I pay 115 times more for it. Mr. President, when you have a country where the economics of using digital technology are so favorable to young people to develop new and interesting applications, you are creating actually the foundation for their future. And what it needs is not being taught, but being shown. Not being just lectured, but being able to engage. And this is what WSA offers. For the next 3 days, it will be a show and tell. Because you could have many conferences, Mr. President, here. You're hosting the heads of government of the Commonwealth, now in November here for more than a week, and you have other conferences and things like this. But what is the mechanism of selection of the people who come together? Here, this is not a crony system. This is not a system of existing networks. This is not somebody who is elected. But these are people here. These are the winners because they have achieved better than others in the use of technology for health and education, for the environment as well as for government, for culture as well as for e-inclusion. And I want to use this opportunity to specifically salute the young people here from the World Summit Youth Award. Mr. President, there are people around this world, hundreds, thousands, millions of young people who are using mobile and internet not just to create awareness, not to create games, but to take action on the Millennium Development Goals. Let me close. Mr. President, when you spoke on the 25th of September this year in front of the General Assembly of the United Nations, it's the 68th Assembly, you gave a landmark speech. And you were looking and talking and asking and pleading for people to have something like an International Skills Day. That is very important because you were and you are committed to giving this country's youth and the youth in other countries, in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America, and around the world, even the youth in Detroit, a future. But when you have International Skills Day, you are just having half of what it needs to be competent in a society like a knowledge society. The other half is knowledge itself. because I can have skills and I can learn things. But if I want to understand the uses of mathematics, I have to study and learn the formulas and the experience of people of the last 2,000 years. And I can only do this when I have good content. So knowledge and skills combine into a competent society. And that is individually the case. It's a case for a group. It's a case for a family. It's a case for a business, for government, and for everybody else. I want to take this opportunity and speak a loud thanks to you, to the chairman of ICTA, to the chief executive officer of ICTA, to the minister, and all the sponsors here. You're giving us a platform for that kind of networking exchange. WSA would not be WSA if I would not have a request for you in closing. Because as you spoke on the 25th of September this year in the General Assembly, you might as well speak again on the 25th of September 2015, when the United Nations will ask what is actually our post-millennium development agenda. And what these people here in this room need, what other people who are the winning generations in the next years need, is a clear mandate that the United Nations has understood that in the General Assembly there is the realization that we have closed many of the infrastructure digital divides, but we have not closed the digital divides on content and knowledge. And that this is the challenge for the next 10 years at least. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your attention. Thank you.
One person will be Madam Dorothy Gordon. She is the first Director General of Ghana's first Advanced Information Technology Institute, AITI, the Ghana India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in IT. We'll be also inviting Manar Al-Hashash, who's a computer engineer from Kuwait, who is the Secretary General of the Kuwait E-Award. We'll be also inviting Dr. Elizabeth Quat, a Legislative Council member, Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, China. Dr. Quat is also the co-founder and immediate past president of the Internet Professional Association, which now represents over 2,500 ICT professionals. And last but not the least, we're going to invite a very entertaining gentleman, Mr. Ralph Simon, the CEO and founder of Mobilium International UK. He's popularly known as the father of the ringtone, and he and his team in fact created the world's first commercial ringtone service in the late 1990s. Mobilium Global has also been strategic mobile advisors and tacticians to some of the world's leading global social media personalities, including figures like Madonna, the Irish rock group U2, and Lady Gaga. So, ladies and gentlemen, can we very warmly invite 4 of the board members of WSA.
Good evening, His Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Culture lost in time. Much has been lost in the 5,000 years of Chinese culture. The World Summer Award has proven that internet, technology, and e-content can help contribute in preservation and promotion of culture. In 2003, the Splendid Chinese Culture website won the first World Summit Award, E-Culture and Heritage Award. This website has 13 series and 200 subjects, illustrated the Chinese culture over 5,000 years through multimedia. Now you can learn how the China Great Wall was built through animation. learning Chinese culture and history become fun, inspiring, and interesting for young generation in Hong Kong and China. The research and production team consists of academia and IT professionals, has interviewed over 1,000 experts in Chinese culture around whole China, interviewed them in remote villages, in cities. Many of them has passed since, but their knowledge, their essence, their passion now remain on the internet. Getting funding to support NGO projects, especially on cultural preservation and online, is always difficult. In 2003, the Hong Kong government has sponsored the website for over $5 million. But by then, no more new funding, and the project was going to close. By getting the World Summit Award, I'm very happy to report to you that for the past 10 years, the website, the project is still alive, and they have secured new funding of over $2 million. Over 200 new subjects have been introduced, and the first version of English website are going to launch soon. Cultural preservation and preservation is always difficult. I'm very happy to be here today, and I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks to His Excellency, to all of you, by supporting the World Summit Award, by promoting and recognizing the world best e-content. We are doing something very good for the future. We are building a better information society for all, and we are making a difference. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Manar and I come from Kuwait. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, from the region where I come from, which is the Arab region, the role